Hey, it's Irina Pozan, and welcome back to the Career Cravings Podcast. This podcast has a simple mission. It's to help ambitious professionals like you build the career and life that you've been craving. Over the past 15 years, I've worked as an HR leader, designed hiring systems, led recruitment teams, and I've sat on the other side of the hiring table. I've seen what works in today's job market, what doesn't, and what separates those good candidates from the ones that actually land their dream roles. Now I'm bringing everything I've learned straight to you. Each episode is packed with actionable insights and tools to help you land your dream role sooner. Now let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back. Before we even dive into today's episode, I just want to say last week's Masterclass, if you were not there, it was amazing. The chat was on fire. There were incredible questions. The community was so supportive. And I have been getting so many DMs from you guys saying that it has completely transformed the way that you job search, which is exactly the intent. So inside, I broke down resume tips, interview tips, everything that is working in today's job market. And just in case you were not able to make it there live, I got you. I have the replay link in the show notes, so you can swipe up so that you don't miss a beat. But also at the 60-minute mark, I dropped some big news that bonus enrollment for my signature program, HR Star, is officially open. And this happens twice a year. So if you're serious about finally getting support and working together super closely to help you land your next dream HR role, there is literally no better time to join. So when you join this week, you get over $3,000 in bonuses, including a one-on-one session with me, guaranteed support until you land your dream role, which means I literally will support you if it takes 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. You know, the interesting thing is when I first launched this program, it was a 3-month program and I would support people for that length of time. But then what I saw was that my clients were landing roles within 3 weeks to 3 months, nearly every single time, literally 98% of the time. So with that, I'm like, you know what? I want to make it no risk. And literally you will get my support every single step of the way with your resume, your interviews, your brand, all the things we talk about here on today's podcast until you land your dream HR role. So if that is you, you can swipe up. Bonus enrollment is open for the next couple of days, and I would love to support you in your search. This program is also where you've heard all of those incredible testimonials about that I've been telling you about over the last couple of months. So you know it works. Now it's your turn. I cannot wait to support you. So if this sounds aligned and the right next step for you, amazing. Swipe up and the link to HR Star's bonus enrollment is also included in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to the final 5th part of this series on the biggest mistakes that I see keeping people stuck from landing their dream roles as fast as they should be. The 5th biggest mistake that I see job seekers make in their search is actually a huge mental block. It is believing I can't afford to invest in my career. And what we're talking about is not only money. We are talking about your time, your energy, and your belief in yourself. And we're going to break down about how investing in yourself can be one of the best financial investments you ever make. Let's talk about one of the best financial investments you can ever make. It is in your career. So most people don't think of their job search as an investment decision. But that's exactly what it is. The job that you land directly impacts your income, your lifestyle, your financial future for so many years to come. So the real question is, what is the ROI of that investment in your career? And what is the cost of staying stuck in a job that either underpays you, that you're unhappy in, or the cost, the literal cost of being in between jobs. So I know a lot of you listening may be in between opportunities. Maybe you got laid off. And what is the cost of every single month that you remain unemployed? We're going to be talking about that. So what I know for sure is that you will continue to get the same results unless you decide to make a change, right? Past results will predict future results unless you fully change your approach. And you never have to do this all alone. So you being here today, you are soaking up tips in order to fast track your career. And I love that. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to feel stuck. And when no one believes in you and when you're not getting the results you deserve, you need to be getting, you need to believe in yourself the most. Okay. So believing that you can't afford to get the right support can actually be holding you back from making an investment that can have a huge ROI in your career. So this is what I want to talk about today and really break down and give you some mindset shifts and journaling prompts that you can use as well. You know me, I love practical use cases, case studies, examples, and I want to introduce you to one of my clients. Now, this literally happens every single week in my world, but I just want to make it real with like one example from earlier this year. And my client, her name is Upsana. So maybe you can relate to her case. She moved to a brand new country after a layoff. So she was laid off, she wasn't working, and then she moved countries. So it was really difficult for her to even land a single interview. And she kept thinking, well, I'm not working. I can't afford to invest in my career, right? Let me know if that sounds familiar. And what she decided was to change that approach and invest in herself, because she knew that staying unemployed would actually be costing her thousands of dollars every single month. If you have the potential to earn more, but you're staying stuck in a role that underpays you, you are also losing money every single month because you're not being paid what you are worth, or you don't have a role where you're paid what you deserve. So instead, what she did was invest in herself, and she focused on creating a strong, aligned resume that got her hired with multiple offers in literally 6 weeks. So when we talk about investing in yourself, here's what I'm actually talking about. She landed multiple offers. So 2 different offers where she had choice. Do I want to work here? Do I want to work there? And after months and months, over 6 months of not hearing back at all, only 6 weeks later, after she got the support that she needed and invested in herself, she landed multiple offers. One was a 34% increase. One was a 37.5% increase from the role she used to have before her layoff. If you're curious on the math of her investment, Upsana had a 37 times ROI on her investment in 6 weeks. Now, please find me a financial advisor, find me any type of investment where you can get 37 times your original investment within 6 weeks back. That's the power of investing in yourself. So for example, if you knew that you could get 100K after investing 2K within a couple of months, would you still say you can't afford to invest in yourself right now? Or would you say that would be the best decision you've ever made? Because this ROI that we're talking about, many people don't think about. And this is exactly why I also continued to invest in my career. To this day, I continue to invest in myself, my growth through coaching. I was just at an entrepreneur roundtable. That was me investing in myself. I also went to a mastermind. If you follow me on social media, you probably saw I joined a mastermind with fellow coaches where I invested in myself. And I know each time I do that, there is a huge ROI anytime I've hired a coach to help me get to that next level. And here's the real win behind Upsana's case. She wasn't just earning more. So that is one huge benefit. Of course, getting an unheard of ROI like that is amazing. But what really I loved about her story is seeing how confident she felt, how happy she was, how valued, how aligned and lit up she was. You've probably seen the testimonial. If not, it's on my social media and on my website as well. But when she came on to hear this story, she's like, I can't believe this happened to me. And she was just so lit up and so happy. And that's exactly what happens when you shift from, I can't afford to invest in myself to, I actually can't afford to stay stuck. I cannot afford to stay stuck in a role that isn't paying me what I deserve, or I cannot afford to stay stuck making less than I deserve or not making any income right now at all. That is extremely expensive because you lose thousands and thousands of dollars every single freaking month. So how do you know when you need support? So getting support is not for everyone. And I want to break down some of the questions you can ask yourself to really reframe and know whether or not you need to get support. If you've been applying for more than 2 months and you've landed very few interviews, like under 3, that is definitely a sign that you need support, because what will happen in the next 2 months is that same thing, right? Past data predicts future data. So take a look what's happened so far in your job search. Are you also starting to wonder where you're going wrong and just not knowing anymore? Thinking maybe it's the market, maybe it's the resume, maybe it's my LinkedIn, maybe it's my interviews. I don't know what I'm saying wrong. I'm not progressing to the next offer stage. Ask yourself if this is you as well. Also, think about if you landed your dream role tomorrow, how much more would you be earning per month? I'm going to go ahead and guess that it would be maybe double your salary, maybe 2,000 more per month. Maybe you're going from earning 0, like the case I told you about with Upsana, to earning almost 6 figures. Now multiply that number that you come up with by 12 to see what your ROI would be in that year. Now, if that number is exciting to you and changes your perspective, then it's definitely time to find someone that can support you, whether that's a mentor, a group, resources that you know are proven that can help you land your dream role. Because what I don't want to see is you stuck in the exact same place that you're in now 6 months from now, which is the reality of most people searching in today's job market. And it is not all about the money. So for me, there were times in my career where I have doubled my salary moving roles and leaving a company and going to another. It's actually happened twice. But it wasn't about the money. What really resonated with me is feeling like I am thriving in my career and feeling like I'm no longer stuck. That feeling of feeling stuck, there is no price that you can put on that. For me, it kept me up at night. I was bored out of my mind, and that feeling is worse to me than anything else. And it is more exciting to me to know that I am making a difference, that I'm reaching my full potential, to feel lit up by what I'm doing every day. You can't put a number on that. So a few reflection questions for you here. How much time are you spending applying for jobs right now? How many months have already gone by? Has it been a couple weeks? Has it been a couple months? Has it been a year? And what is the cost of waiting another 3 to 6 months until you land a role that you deserve? Financially, emotionally. Now, I love bringing this full circle. And one of my clients, Jenny, she had battled very severe imposter syndrome. She was doubting herself so much when we met. And once she finally shifted her mindset, she knew she was ready for more. She landed her first HR manager role and doubled her salary. But again, it wasn't only about the paycheck. Is that exciting? Yes. Is it life-changing? Yes. Does it mean she can also go to Paris right now and enjoy and go drink champagne? Yes. But that's not what it was about. It was actually about feeling like she is growing in her career, which again is priceless. So she invested in herself, made the decision that it is inevitable that she's landing that first HR manager role, and she doubled her salary. She bet on herself. She had a huge ROI. I think it was like 42x her investment. But she was so happy to be finally in a role. It was a leadership role. It changed her life. These are thousands of dollars that she's going to be earning every month, but she decided to believe in herself, to bet on herself. And within 3 months, she was in that role. Now, I know when you're dreaming big, you're coming up with your career goals, it's scary. And these mindset shifts, they sometimes bring up fears. So I also want to give you some tools to be able to reframe that fear. I want you to think about this. Is it normal to feel afraid when you're making a decision? Yes. But the question really is, where will you be 3 months from now if you don't take action? Will you still be stuck? Or will you be thriving in that dream role? And I'll give you an example. I spent almost $9,000. It was $8,901 for my first mentor. And literally when I made that investment, my hands were shaking. Like literally I was giving my credit card and I was like typing it in and I'm like, what am I doing? This doesn't make sense. And literally within the first month, I made my investment back and it was tenfold within 3 months. So I have never looked back. I have never looked at that as something that I can't do just because I know how much more driven I am when I make that investment, how supported I am. When it's with the right person, it just helps you speed up exactly to the place you want to go in your career instead of taking things slow. Like I don't personally love to take things slow. Like as we talk about this, I think back to this entrepreneur roundtable lunch that I was recently at with my good friend Diana Chan, who you may know from LinkedIn as well. She has a huge, amazing following. And she used to be a career coach, actually. Now she's a business coach. And I met someone there who I didn't know before. Her name is Sarah, and she's also a career coach. And we were just talking about the job market and how many people are unemployed right now. And if you're listening to this and you've also been affected or you think your role may also be eliminated, you know how common layoffs are right now and how common they've been over the last 2 years. And it's such a sad thing because we're talking about people who need the most support, right? And the reason I say they need the most support is because they're losing the most every single week that goes by, right? So if you're currently unemployed, what is the cost of staying there? Think about how would it change your life if you landed your next role in the next, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. For my client, Justine, it literally meant that she could now support her family after she went from being unemployed to landing a role in 3 weeks. That is a big difference. She could have kept applying and doing what didn't work for the next 6 months, but she decided to make a change. And because I never want you to be in that situation where money is the reason that's keeping you stuck, or you think, you can't afford to get the support that you need, this is exactly why I share a ton of free resources. This here, recording this podcast each and every single week with what's working in today's job market, offering my free masterclass, which you can find in the show notes. I also have freebies like my resume review freebie, the interview freebie. There are so many ways that you can get support. And also, I offer payment plans on all of my programs. You can reach out and always ask because my programs are guaranteed to help you land a role within 3 weeks to 3 months. And that's what happens with 98% of my clients. So if you have ever thought to yourself, Irina, I would love the support. I would literally love it, but I just don't have the money right now. It's likely not about the money, because if you knew that you were also going to get like a 37x return on your investment, it would literally be a no-brainer. You would get creative and you would get the support that you need. I want you to believe in your value. When you choose to invest in yourself, that is a statement about you investing in your career. Whether that's time, whether that's effort, whether that's getting external support, you're sending yourself a message to say, I'm worth it. And trust me, when you start showing up like that with that type of belief system, others will believe in you too. So, action items, there are always action items. First, I want you to reflect on your current strategy. Are you repeating the same steps that aren't working? What needs to change in your strategy? So that's the first one. Reflect on what's currently happening. Does something need to change? Or are you perfectly content with your career? Then I want you to think about what is the cost of staying where exactly you are today. If nothing happens in the next 12 months and you stay in the same role, are you living up to your potential? And what is the cost of staying in that place? Now, second, what was that number that you calculated earlier in this podcast where you look at your dream role and you look at what you would potentially be earning on average in that role? What is the number every single month that you're missing out on right now by not being in that role sooner? And then I want you to think about your time. How much time are you spending towards finding your dream role right now? And is that working for you? So the cost of staying stuck, if you took anything away from this episode, I want to be real. Now, I told you this 5-part series was going to be spicy, and I'm definitely delivering on that because I want to be real with you that staying stuck isn't free. No, it has a huge cost associated to it. So if you're losing like 5, 10K a month by not being where you should be, even if it's $1,000 every single month, that has a huge cost to it. Now, if you're not ready for a big change, that's okay. Like start with all of the free resources that I have in the show notes for you, like my free masterclass, and I want you to build momentum because you deserve better than feeling stuck in your career. So here's what I want you to take away. You don't have to keep spinning your wheels. There is a huge cost to staying stuck. And whether it's through a paid or free resource, I want you to take action today because I know you could be so much closer to your dream role than you think. It just starts with the right tools to get there. I love you. I'm here for you. And I cannot wait to see you in next week's episode. Hey, before you go, if you've enjoyed listening to today's show, I would love your support. Please take a moment to leave a review anywhere where you listen to podcasts. And here's the exciting part. I'm running a special contest and giving away a one-on-one session with yours truly. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and send it to me in my DMs. All of my contact info is in the show notes. I appreciate you so much, and I cannot wait to build the career and life that you've been craving together. See you next week.